What's up, guys? This week we're going to talk about how we just flipped our first house. It was an awesome experience, and Rob, I kind of want you to kick it off. So this whole experience was something where we learned nonstop. We found a property, we did the research on it. Being a realtor really helps doing all that research. And then we got to work on doing the work inside of it, getting contractors out there, getting it ready to flip, getting it ready to sell. And then within 2 weeks, we had an investor buy it from us. And I think they're going to use it as a rental property. So Rob, kick us off, man. How did we come across this deal?
Well, see, that's what's so cool to me is like, we talked about real estate last episode, but when we decided we want to get into house flipping, the number one problem is like finding the house. Well, how do you find the house? So I just kind of made some Facebook posts. With insurance, I'm able to post a lot, so I kind of figure out what people like and what they don't like when it comes to what I post. So I made a couple posts about we were looking for some houses that we could potentially buy, and had a guy reach out, and we actually ended up getting a wholesale deal and our first flip from that original post, which is kind of crazy to even think about. It was just a free lead. But we were able to meet this guy at this house, and it was a rental house that he had owned for like 10 plus years. He was ready to unload it, tired of messing with it. So we were able to work out a deal with him off market, just kind of a handshake deal, and wrote a contract and got that house, and that kind of started it all,
Yeah. And that's the hardest part in any of this is finding the deal.
Yeah, finding the deal is the hardest part.
That's where you make your money is when you find
you got to buy it right.
And we've looked at probably 30 houses in the past month or two, and that's been the only one that.
Sorry, guys.
That's been the only one that really stood out and was something we're wanting to chase. I do want to emphasize, like Rob and his Facebook posts, people say that social media is the way to go on, attracting business, getting yourself known, this and that. And I just want to emphasize that it's so true. Like, they're not just saying it, freaking do something about it. Rob has been consistently posting on his Facebook for over 2 years. And guess what? Once you start posting, then you begin the networking process when you go meet these people in person. Mm-hmm. You can network with them through the Facebook Messenger or the Instagram Messenger, whatever. Yeah. But then you can actually go meet them in person too. And now another person. Because of this deal, I met the guy that was selling it. I met him. I met his wife. We know his son. It's like we just added 3 people to our network by saying, hey, we want to buy houses.
Yeah, and people feel like they know you just from watching you post all the time. Like, they might not have I've never even met the guy that we bought that house from. Never met him one time. But when we walked up, he acted like he knew everything about me.
Yeah.
He had that trust and everything just based off of what he sees me posting all the time.
And it's a free billboard.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand is that, social media is really a free tool that you can use to grow your brand. Mm-hmm. And most of the people that we look up to, I would say 90% of the people that we look up to in the business world are utilizing social media to its fullest extent.
Like Alex Ramosi, he said that he basically was going to write a book and just PR it for 2 years, then make sure it sold where he could get paid the rest of his life. And he just did it like twice.
Yeah.
I mean, social media is so big, and we're not the gurus or pros on social media. We're still working on getting better at that each and every day, month. But I will say that because we have utilized it, it has gotten us more known in our local community. And also, like Rob said, people that you see in person, they'll come up to you and see like, man, I saw you do these 3 things, and you feel like you have a friend, and you really have never even shared words with them before.
Yeah. I don't want to get too ahead of our conversation because I know we're going to talk more about the house, but like another cool thing kind of relates to that is with this house flip, we documented the whole process, and everybody's seen how quickly and how nice the product was when we were finished, to where now we've already had 2 new investors reach out over the last few months that see us on Facebook, and they're like, hey man, we see what y'all are doing, y'all are crushing it, keep me in mind if you ever need another investor.
Yeah.
And it's also given us the option to have so many houses to look at, kind of like Alex alluded to earlier. We're looking at houses every single week. We're getting ready to start our next flip next week. Mm-hmm. So, social media is a huge thing. But I want to get into kind of because so many people are interested in real estate, how this house flip went. So I want to kind of get into the details. We're going to be an open book with you guys and just kind of share how this whole thing transacted and how we ended up doing. So
let's bridge this networking into the house flip. So we had this house, we bought it on June 30th or June 29th, and we sold it August 30th. So we had it for 2 months total. We had to get the power and the water turned on, all that. But even back before we owned the house, what I want to talk about is going back to the networking piece. Through this, at this point in our careers, we did not have the money to flip the house and buy the house at the same time. So what we had to do was we had to lock in an investor, okay? And our investor came through networking. All right. So I just want to emphasize again the power of networking and people around you, filling in your circle with people. You don't have to go meet 10 people tomorrow that can buy you a house. You won't. I mean, good luck trying to get them interested in you tomorrow. But over time, if you put out enough seeds, eventually things will grow.
That's right.
And so the way we were able to buy this house was, like I said, through a private investor. So we didn't go through a bank. We used someone's money. And then once we obtained the home, Rob can kind of talk about the process he started with finding the contractors. But we networked. We found someone that could do a lot of the work, and then we started project managing. Do you want to talk about finding the contractor?
I'll just kind of say on that, again, it was just networking. We had several people. I mean, me and Brent and Alex know so many people in the community that do pretty much everything you could ever need done with the house. And originally, I was going to try to contract it out and have a different person for everything. And because of the networking that we were able to do, the first guy that came out to give us some prices on some of the stuff ended up getting me in contact with basically a guy that could do it all. So we were able to team up with him. He kind of came in. That's the reason we were able to get the house done so quickly, is we didn't have to work everybody's schedules around everything. And, that really helped us to get it done fast and to not have to deal with a bunch of different people, which I think made it easier on us for our first house.
100%.
Yeah, and you guys talk about going into the house flip. We found the contractors. We made this connection. We knew he could do a lot of this stuff. But how did you guys know what you wanted to do with the house? Did you go in with a plan, or was it just like, hey, what can you do, and then we'll kind of do some of this that the contractor can do, or did you have a whole building plan already ready for this house when we bought it?
So I think we had a good idea of what we wanted to do.
I mean, we kind of know what's in right now. Obviously, y'all are realtors. Y'all go look at houses all the time, so you know what people are making their houses look like to sell them. My wife, she loves nice house and nice things. So when we built our house, I kind of knew what we were going for with the house. So once we were able to buy it, we had to figure out how do we make our house look like all these other houses that y'all are looking at and that we like.
And it's so important for you guys that are trying to get into this, because it's a process. So many people want to get into real estate investing, but it's not something that you need to do without doing proper research, because you could definitely get in a situation where you lose a lot of money. I've been in real estate almost 9 years now. Alex, you're going on 3 years in real estate, 4 years in real estate. So we have the luxury of looking at deals constantly and understanding kind of what's selling. So one of the biggest things that I would tell somebody that's trying to get into it is to really make sure you're studied up on where the comps are. Because you could get in trouble, especially if you put too much money in a house and it just isn't going to appraise. You could lose your tail. So it's very important that you do the proper research before you get it. We already knew kind of the ballpark of where this house was going to fall before we even sign the contract to buy it. So it's so critical that you understand. You have to be an expert, guys. You can't go into this lightly. You have to feel yourself. If you're just sitting on the sidelines right now, you want to get into this, you shouldn't be waiting around to do the research. You should go ahead and start watching YouTube videos. We have the luxury of having so much content,
free
on the
education.
internet. It's so crazy.
We talked about it before too. Find a mentor, find somebody, and that the guy that put us on the contractor we ultimately used, even though I didn't go into it looking at him as a mentor, he kind of mentored me that day and showed me how to do a few things that I thought I already knew how to do. And I think when you're going into it also, like Brent said, you got to be smart, get as much done with your budget as you can, get multiple people to budget every item throughout the whole entire house. And then when you're done with that, go ahead and add about $5,000 to $10,000 more.
That's right.
Because when I built my house, I went way over budget. When we did this house, I felt like our budget was rock solid, and we still went over probably $10,000 to $12,000.
We went over budget, and you guys are just spitting out some heat right here. So Rob had mentioned how he met a guy and didn't know that he was going to end up getting guidance from him. That's why we have to keep our minds open at all time. You might see someone and think like, oh man, this guy, I mean, you can think whatever you want of him, but he may just be able to say one sentence that changes the way you're going to flip your house or the way you're going to do whatever with your family. Just keep an open mind. And then the other part, Brent was talking about the markets and everything. We were in Metro Atlanta, and so we do have the luxury of being realtors for a few years. I would never say, like I hear people say like they hated being a realtor, they didn't succeed, whatever, that's on them. But I love being a realtor, and I love the research that automatically comes with it and everything. And my point being is that we're in Metro Atlanta, but if you go one county over, all the comps change. Within our county, if you go from north to the south of the county, the comps change. So you really have to know, you have to have a plan of what you're going to do to your house, and you also have to know the area that you're buying in, so you can maximize profitability, and then also make sure you're not overspending. We know a guy that through the grapevine, he was flipping a house, and he ended up putting it on the market for $700,000, and he said that none of the houses around him were selling for $700,000, but he had to do that just to make $30,000 because his flip had taken that much out of his bank account and ended up being that way. And so the proper research may have shown that man that he shouldn't have put that much money in it, should have never bought it, should hold it a while. But because of the situation he's in, he's had to list it 20,000 above what's everything that's around him just to make 30 grand.
Yeah. How long is it going to take?
It's already been on the market 4 months with 6 showings.
Yeah.
So you got to do the research.
Yeah, and that can happen to anybody. All the people that we look up to, they've had those moments where you put too much in a house or the market just changes while you're under construction. So you always have to be prepared for the worst case scenario. Yeah. But the upside of this industry is huge because this one flip changed our life,
from a knowledge standpoint.
Yeah, from a knowledge standpoint.
And a belief standpoint.
It just changed.
Well, it just shows you can do it. Yeah, we've talked about doing it for so long.
So it was just so cool to see it all come together. And I mean, Rob did a really good job managing the crews and making sure he was there every day working.
Yeah.
And he's passionate about it. So you have to be passionate about this stuff. You can't just go into it because you think you're going to make a lot of money. You really have to be passionate about understanding the market, understanding how the construction process works. It's a lot of work, guys, but we want to encourage you to do it because so many people have asked us about it. That's why we're doing this video today, because there's so much interest in it.
And we had that house done in 6 weeks. So going back to the story, we find the contractor, we start working on it, we get it done in 6 weeks. How many trips did you make to Home Depot in 6 weeks?
I joked with y'all and said 20, but probably close to that realistically. But the reason that I had to do so many trips was, again, the contractor that I used, you paid him a day rate versus an hourly rate. So it didn't make sense for us to spend him. He didn't need to spend his days at Home Depot.
Heck no.
So, and that just, taught me a lot too, because you think you know a lot about a Home Depot store when you're a homeowner buying paint every now and then and a few things. But when they're sending you to get everything that you don't know, I learned Home Depot real quick. And
got a Home Depot degree.
Yeah.
Talk about the overall project management. So were you just going over there? We were around you, but you just go over there and say, hey man, this looks good, do that, looks good, see ya.
Yeah.
Talk about what it was like to manage this project. Because our house, the home that we flipped, it was a 3-bed, 2-bath, split level home, and it hadn't been touched since probably 1990. It was all original, and we updated every inch of this home.
Well, again, it was a little easier to manage it because we dealt with one person pretty much for everything. We had a few other people that came in and done things, but my biggest thing was I wanted to get there every morning and go over what I needed him to do that day. Like, hey, today I need you to finish painting this room. I need you to get these doors hung, finish staining the back of the deck. That way he knew what I was expecting from him, and I could go back after lunch and make sure that he was on target to hit what I told him to do. But also, so many little things I would notice the morning that I would meet him, like he's getting ready to start this, but I didn't really like the way that this little thing was. And had I not been there to catch it, he would have just done it whatever was easiest, and then we would have been stuck with that. Because there was things I didn't catch. There was a couple HVAC vents that I wish I would have moved 10 inches to center them where our appliances were going to be. But when you're in the middle of a full reno and everything's gutted and there's no cabinets and you're not thinking about where this appliance is going to sit. Well, if I would have moved this vent over 4 inches, it would have centered my refrigerator and would have looked a little bit better. So there's still things that I missed and that I didn't get done, the way I would have necessarily wanted to moving forward. Yeah. I learned a few things.
What a good learning.
Yeah. You took the plan, and then it sounds like you just had organization, what you wanted done, and then you held him accountable.
Yeah, I just tried to stay on top, and that way he knew what I was expecting out of him, and I knew what I was hopefully going to get out of him each and every day for our money.
And our flip could be different than the one that you endeavor on, because what we decided to do was we ran all of our math, all of our after retail value, everything based on us not doing the work. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're someone that is like, okay, I'm going to try to flip a house and I'm going to do most of the work.
Yeah.
But, at that point, you just have to think, if I'm going to have this home for 7 months, is the market going to change? What's happening in my local area? And also, the time that you put in there, is it even worth you making the profit you're going to make after you spend 7 months working on the house? You just got to think about all these things.
So true.
Yeah, think if somebody would have bought a house to do a flip on back when the interest rates were 3%, and it took them till the
Probably-
rates were 6 and 7%
Yeah.
to get it done.
And that
Like
happened to a lot of people.
they're pulling their hair out, and
Yeah.
that's what we tried to avoid. That's one reason why we were just trying to grind it and get it done yesterday.
And something that's been cool for me to watch, because like we said before, we have so many mentors in this real estate world that we look up to that have been doing house flips for years and years and years. And probably this is one of the worst times to flip a house in recent future, or recent history. Like, it has been a challenging market. Interest rates are higher than they've ever been in my lifetime right now. The buyers are not out as much as they were. Inventory is super low, which actually helps us.
Yeah, that's the only good thing, probably.
So that's the cool thing. We were below the median price in our county, so that also helped. Like, if you can stay below that median, if I'm not going to go out there and flip a $700,000 house in Dallas right now,
No.
because it's just too risky. So you really have to think about all these factors before you get into this. But I want to encourage you to just do it, to get out there and try to find the deals, because again, that's the hardest part. So to anybody that's looking to get into this industry, get really good at finding the deals. And you can wholesale deals while you're getting ready to flip them. That's kind of what we've started off with, a wholesale mindset. We were like, man, we're just going to wholesale. And we got this house. We're like, man, we really want to try to cut our teeth with this renovation.
Yeah.
And it worked out really good for us. We made way more money than we would have made on a wholesale deal. So that's the coolest thing. So I just want to encourage you, if you are trying to get into it, reach out to us. We're open. Yeah. We're an open book. We'll show you the ways, the techniques that we're using to find deals.
Yeah.
But that's where your focus needs to be, is finding the deals.
And if you do get to where you can find, I don't care if it's 1 deal a month, 2 deals a month, you automatically show value to someone that's potentially going to partner. Like, say that you come with us and you say, hey, I have these 3 potential deals. Well, guess what? You have more value today walking into us saying that than people that we've interviewed in the past year, because guess what? We've talked to them and they're talking about wanting and having interest and lots of desire and this and that. But you already have the deals. The value's in the deals.
That's right. And we'll pay you good money for those.
Yeah.
We would.
Well, that's what's so cool about the whole deal to me, is like, if you're watching this and you're not in real estate and you have no clue how to do it, but you want to get into it, all you got to do is network. If you want to find a partner, us 3 being together makes things so much easier, because then you've got somebody else that can help you do things.
Ideas off of,
Go find a partner, somebody that you can trust to do business with. Find you an investor. Start looking at properties. If you find a couple that don't work, you can wholesale them, and then you can make money off that. And
100%. And one thing that I will say that came to mind earlier when we were talking about our investor, you have to show yourself as a trustworthy guy as well. So it's very important that you have good character in your day-to-day doings, or nobody's going to line up to give you $230,000 or whatever that number is. That, luckily we had a really good relationship with this investor. Like Alex said, it was a great networking opportunity for us and him. And I mean, he made really good money as the investor. That's what's cool. So it was a win-win.
The final numbers on this house, I mean, we bought the house for $160. We put $60 into it, and we sold it for $301. Mm-hmm. So we did go over our budget. We had to pay out real estate commission, but at the end of the day, we paid the investor. We paid the investor a percentage, but at the end of the day, it was a very profitable situation for us. Not only because we made money at the end, but we learned more in the past 2 months than we could have ever learned by reading and doing another YouTube video. I know that Rob or Brent and I watch more YouTube than Rob, but basically I have watched YouTube after YouTube for years and years on how to flip a house, but there was nothing like getting putting the shoes on and doing it.
That's right. You can watch a video on how to ride a bike all day, but then when you actually get on to ride it, it's totally different.
Yeah, you can watch a video on German smearing your brick, but when you do it,
Rob did actually do that.
Yeah, I did it. It was fun, but
it turned out really good.
It was a little harder than the video showed.
Yeah, and so really to the detail too, because Alex just kind of broke down the numbers. We use what's called in the industry a hard money lender. Mm-hmm. So our lender got 10% of the total amount that we invested, roughly. So essentially, we borrowed roughly $230,000, and he made $23,000 as the investor. So that's another big cost that comes with using other people's money. But most of the people in the game are using other people's money. You just have to make sure the deal makes sense with that in mind.
How else are you going to get started?
That's
well,
right.
there is ways to find other deals, and we'll talk about that in the future. I think one of our next videos we might harp on it, but there's ways to basically, you can find people that are struggling with the homes that they currently have, and you can kind of come in, and we'll get more into that next time, but you can actually take over people's mortgages and and
very
renovate their
creative
house.
ways.
Yeah,
There's real estate has unlimited options. So if you guys are getting into real estate flipping, comment on the video. What's holding you back from getting into real estate flipping? What questions do you have about real estate flipping?
Yeah.
Just let us know.
if you'd like to come on and help us and find houses, like we'd love to work with you and pay you
Anybody
for
that's
leads.
interested, hit us up, because we are, we're trying to. This is just the beginning for us. We are actively looking every single day. Our ultimate goal is to build a huge rental portfolio. So, I mean, there's going to be so many future videos of the stuff that we're doing in the real estate world. And if you're interested or have any questions, just throw them in the contact, hit us up. I mean, just message us, call us, whatever, man. We want to grow our community, and we want to help people along the way. So we would be happy to just answer any questions you got.
Thanks, guys.
So thank y'all so much.
What's up, everybody? We're standing here in the flip house we just finished up. It's going to hit the market here in a couple days. We're excited to show y'all around, so come check it out. Not only did we come in and upgrade the kitchen with cabinets and countertops, we also were able to tear down the divider wall, give it a good open concept, good feel, and we even went into the fireplace and updated the fireplace to make it look a little more modern. When it came to flooring, we went with the LVP flooring throughout the whole house with carpet in both bedrooms, just gave it a good clean look. In the bathrooms, we kind of just gutted both bathrooms and started from scratch, came in and did tile in both, shower inserts, new vanities, sinks, faucets, basically made the bathrooms brand new. Lastly, we upgraded the HVAC, gave it a brand new hot water heater. We replaced both garage doors and upgraded both decks just to give it a great finished product. Thank y'all for following us on this journey. This house has been a blast to rehab. We can't wait to put a new family in here. And if you have a house that's in need of repair or you would just rather sell the property, give us a call. We can close fast, pay cash. Thank y'all.